Hey everybody, it's Jork. Welcome back. Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Wanted to make this video and get your opinions, or if you have these thoughts, if this has happened to you. Do you feel like you chose the wrong country? If so, are you still in that country? If not, how'd you get out? Where'd you go? What made you think or get to the point where you felt like it was the wrong place? And part of why, I have the title of the video, not looking for the best country, but what are the trade-offs that you're going to accept? I go back because I'm making this video during the Winter Olympics, and I'm going back to my childhood, and there was a coach for a U.S. hockey team. His name was Herb Brooks, and he had a quote as he was putting together the team. Many of the best players available he did not choose for the team. And there was a point where the assistant coach goes, hey, you're leaving some of the best players off. And his comeback to that was, I'm not looking for the best players, I'm looking for the right players. And I think that's part of, just watched a game the other night. It got me thinking about that, and I kept thinking if I could tie that into a video. But thinking about so many people get focused on, and God, we got into the hype of Portugal when it became super popular too. So can't sit here and say, whoa, we were above that. We weren't. We went with the herd. But thinking about if you feel like you went to a country and it's like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And I mean that from you did do scouting trips. You did investigate. You feel like you did your due diligence that this is going to be the place for us. And over time, because you change, because things in the country change, it no longer becomes that. I think that's okay. I think before you get to a breaking point and say, I gotta go, or we made the wrong decision, I think there's a few trade-offs or things to consider that we talked about, as well as other people communicate with me, send me emails, and what they think of as trade-offs or thoughts before they end up leaving a country. And one of the main things is, okay, if we chose the wrong country, the issue is, well, we thought we did all the homework. Day-to-day life or something just isn't the same for us. It just, whatever. And I think of some of the practical things that go on when you do live in another country. There is a reason why when we moved to Portugal, about 99.999% of the people that we met rented. We were the 0.0001% that bought. So if something happened to us, or we moved back, we have to sell a property. That's not as easy as it just happens, snap. That took 6 months. 8 months actually to finalize. It was not fun. And we were in a part of town that was considered a hot place to live or a trendy place. Still took a long time. That's something that can be there's a renting, what I'd say even if things work out long term, maybe renting is the best way to go because you don't have to worry about what do we got to do with this property if we end up leaving. So some of the trade-offs of thinking about renting versus buying. Yeah, renting, there's definitely a big pro for being able to rent. You don't have to deal with a property if you want to leave, or let's go to a negative point. Let's say something happens to you. You're tragically, you pass away, or both of you, a couple, something happens. What happens to that property? How does that work? Something you don't have to think about if you're renting. So that's something, a trade-off. The trade-off, I've talked about this many times, about leaving family. I think more people have kind of contemplated that and thought about it and have come to terms with, where they are in the world. And what is great is in most places, I'll say the top 10 places that most immigrants seem to go to or retire to, not necessarily move to, but for retirement. In most cases, many people have a major international airport that can get people either within a day or within 2 days back home if there was some major, hey, you get the phone call, you got to come home, someone's not doing good type of thing. So I think that kind of is a trade-off that people are okay with. In our case, something that we had is, okay, leaving family was something that we were concerned with. The trade-off of that was the amount of travel. And one of the things that we like to do is travel. We are probably going to, until the money runs out or health-wise or something, we're going to continue traveling. So the trade-off was, okay, we're not going to see family that often, but we're going to be able to get to all these places and all these countries and cities, and that is a priority for us, and that's important. Those experiences mean something to my wife and I. So for us, that was a big trade-off. Just for moving across the Atlantic was, okay, we like experiencing this part of the world. We're going to go experience that. And so that, some of the daily life, some of the things that might have been frustrating with the bureaucracy, all those things were put in its place because the trade-off was, but we're only a few hour flight to all these different places. So that was something that was big for us. Regret. I think some people, when they think about, God, we made a mistake, or they regret moving from their country, or, wish we didn't know now what we didn't know then type of thing of, we made a bad decision. Okay. If you recognize that, I would like to think, or my hope is, the trade-off of that is you can right that decision, meaning you can go back home, wherever home is. Maybe not in the same city, the same area, but you can go back to your home country. You have hopefully the ability to maybe move to another country, a different country that might have less issues or is more, for your lifestyle and your day-to-day life, maybe. I don't know that I've come across anyone yet that we're stuck. We can't move. Now, in some cases, there may be some immigration things in the process, in the works. There may be, something like that. But not being able to undo things. You can sell the property. It may take a long time, but you can do it. I think that you can undo if you've made a bad decision. But I do talk to people that do feel like, they've let themselves down, they let their significant others down, they let their family down by moving someplace, and then it didn't work out the way they planned. It's almost like this, failure that, I thought it was going to work out, it didn't. Well, it didn't. I mean, right or wrong, people get divorced all the time. People leave jobs all the time. People move from cities and all of the time. Not everybody leaves a country and moves to a different country. But I think you know where I'm going with that. There are opportunities to change your life. And so it's not a mistake. It's not what if I chose wrong? Let's twist it and say it's a learning opportunity. It might be a financial costly. There might be some opportunity cost to that. But everything you could say is potentially an opportunity cost. But thinking about, instead of terms of what you did wrong or you made a bad decision, what's next in your life? Because as we're moving, and as most of you from the metrics are in that, let's say, 50 and up category, we all have a whole lot left, or a whole lot less left of what's left of our life than we do more. And how much time do you want to spend, regretting the decision of, well, we moved here and it's been a few years and bad decision. Okay, own it. Bad decision. Go someplace else. Figure out how to undo, or go back home, or go do something while you have the time to do it. I think that's something that I think is a focus that I hope people are thinking of. It's almost like trying to have an exit strategy before you move there, just in case, having that backup plan, having that next thought, because even the best laid plans, and you could have spent 6 months living in a place before you move there, and there might be some day-to-day things, or maybe some how you feel about things that change over time, that 6 month scouting trip still wasn't enough. So try, my hope is in the video you try not to think of it as you did something wrong or it was bad. It's just something that you learn. You know, it can be costly and it can take sometimes months or maybe a year or two to get out of a situation, but I think almost everybody can move on from feeling that they went someplace that it didn't work out. So hopefully you can learn from this. Please, if you went someplace and it didn't work out, what was your thought process? How did you get out of it? What were you thinking along the way? I don't mean just practically. Well, we sold this, we did this, we moved on here, but what were you thinking along that way? I think it would be helpful for other people to learn from you. As always, thank you for watching and enjoy your travels.